Hey, everybody. Thanks for popping on. Really appreciate it. I know it always takes a minute for people to flow into the conversation, but I am putting my head above water. I am on the final big slam on the second draft of my book. And there's thousands of pages of printouts around the house. And I'm staying up into the wee hours, and I'm way over caffeinated, everybody. So I'm delighted to have my friend Wajan Ali joining me today. Hey, brother, how are you doing?
I'm proud to be in the hottest country, United States.
The very hottest. No one's hotter.
Everything's going fantastic. In fact, we had a regime change. It's a friendly regime, which is why I'm sending 6,000 more troops to the friendly regime.
And we've blockaded the strait because the regime change. They're much more rational people. They're much better. They're working with us.
Yeah, and I'm also cosplaying as a Red Cross nurse, if you know, with a light emanating from my hands, Rick.
I wrote a piece about that yesterday, and I had a Catholic priest friend of mine reach out, and he's like, first off, your divinity classes are showing no matter how long ago they were. I'm like, thank you. And he's like, second off, he goes, there really is an argument there. That he's the Antichrist.
I went to an all-boys Jesuit Catholic high school, and Joy is a lapsed Catholic, and together we know more than baby Catholic JD Vance.
I think between the three of us, we've got our Catholic cred down. But listen, I want to jump in, folks, because obviously the big story behind all the big stories right now is still Iran, still this insanity. We got a couple of clips about, first off, about the so-called blockade, whether it works or not is up in the air, and how China is starting to help Iran, and Trump completely just absolutely shits the bed on this question. Let's roll that clip, Whit.
Well, you keep saying is this war over?
I think it's close to over, yeah. I mean, I view it as very close to over.
This morning, the U.S. Navy blockading Iran. 16 U.S. warships are now enforcing President Trump's order to stop all ships entering or departing Iranian ports and coastal areas. 2 tankers under U.S. sanctions turning around as the restrictions went into effect. The Rich Starry, though, now appears to have successfully made it through the Strait of Hormuz, one of 3 ships to cross today.
Well, we just heard from the FBI recently that there was a major cyber attack attributed to China. What response is under consideration for that cyber attack?
We do it to them. They do it to us. We do it to them. Well,
when was the last time we did a cyber attack in China?
Well, I don't know. I'm not going to tell you that. But we do them. They do us. It's been like that for a long time.
So it's not going to be addressed?
I'll address things. But, it is what it is. Look, China's China. They're never easy. But we're doing great with China.
I'm sorry. Watch. I mean, when you look at that, the level of delusion is just like off the freaking charts. Uh-oh. I don't have Waj's audio.
It's very comforting to hear the commander-in-chief say China is China in response to reports of China launching a massive cyber attack and joining Iran in this escalating war that is unwinnable. And the fact that, he says, hey, China's great, this is China, this is what happens, tit for tat. And then he's deluding himself and his base about a war that he's clearly losing. And literally, I'm sitting here now, Rick, I'm like, how much bullshit can MAGA eat and still say, you know what, this is a fantastic Philly cheese sandwich.
I love this cheesesteak.
Yeah, this is all bullshit, man. Like the fact that he's literally lying to you. He's saying there's a regime change. No, there's not. He's saying we're winning the war. No, he's not. He's saying the war is winding down. He's sending troops. He's saying the Strait of Hormuz will open up immediately. This is why the Strait of Hormuz, it's thick and creamy. I like it with garlic. I mean, it's infuriating, Rick. It's infuriating.
Yeah. And I do think that while Trump tacoed on the entire let's invade Iran on the land war side for a few weeks, the story hasn't ended, because what he's done is empowered the mullahs. He's given them the greatest tool they could hope for, which is a unified country behind them. They've got an asymmetric warfare advantage here.
Absolutely.
Guys, 140 ships used to be the daily transit number, 140, 150 ships a day. 3 is not working out. It is the global economy is getting bitten in the ass, and it's all Trump's doing. And he's doing everything he can to make the world hate him.
That's right.
And my favorite part of him making the world hate him is a classic problem that people have. And don't get involved in a land war in Asia. We're there, and don't go to war with the Pope, which is one that the Catholic Church is a very old institution. They've been around a while. They've seen their Donald Trumps in their time. Let's play the insane attack on the Pope.
Why did you attack Pope Leo on Truth Social?
I don't think he's doing a very good job. He likes crime, I guess.
In English, I would simply say, once again, what I said in the Urbi et Orbi message on Sunday, asking all people of goodwill to search always for peace and not violence, to reject war, especially a war which many people have said is an unjust war, which is continuing to escalate, and which is not resolving anything. In fact, we have a worldwide economic crisis, energy crisis, situation in the Middle East of great instability, which is only provoking more hatred throughout the world.
The fact that it's an American Pope, to my mind, is what is truly driving Trump batshit about this.
Completely agree.
I think this guy's from Chicago. He's calm. He's the classic guy. Speak softly, carry the proverbial big stick. And with Trump, I mean, attacking the Pope, when you end up having Iran saying, "Hey, don't attack the Pope," it should say something to everybody that it's weird, because Trump is like alienating a giant portion of the world by attacking the Pope, because the non-Muslim world is a lot of Catholics, about 1 billion of them.
Yep.
Globally, and I think that is one thing, but it's also in America, his own coalition. They picked up a lot of Catholic voters, a lot of more traditional Catholic voters in particular, and I just can't see how J.D. Vance is going to thread this needle, right? What do you think about, we associated the Republican Party for a long time with just evangelicals, but they had really taken away a lot of these Catholic voters from the Democrats, and working class Catholics in particular. What do you think about how this plays out? How does this fight end?
It ends with the Pope winning. First and foremost, the Pope isn't Batman, so I have no idea why he says the Pope hasn't addressed crime. He thinks maybe because the Pope wears a costume. But literally, I agree with you. The reason why he's so pissed off at this Pope is because it's an American Pope. And he goes, "How come you haven't bent the knee to me? Right. I am greater than you. I will create an AI image of myself as Jesus after spending several days mocking you. You should pledge fealty to me." And the Pope is like, "No, I pledge fealty to God." Right. And the reason why he's so pissed off is the Pope is openly calling out his failed war and also his failed immigration policy. And then you have baby Catholic J.D. Vance, who is such a fraud that he's willing to throw the Pope and Catholicism under the bus to suck up to Donald Trump and the neocons and the warhawks, right? This is a man who literally has a book coming out called Catholic with a, was it a Presbyterian church?
Yeah, a Presbyterian church. You put a Protestant church on the book, on the cover of your book about Catholicism. It is a little cognitive dissonance. We've got a clip of JD at this weekend's Turning Point event, which went over like a wet fart in a hot car. Let's play that.
I think it's very, very important for the Pope to be careful when he talks about matters of theology. And I think that one of these issues here is that there has been, again, hey, random dude screaming, I told you I'd respond to your point. I just want to respond to this question first. But I think one of the issues here is that if you're going to opine on matters of theology, you've got to be careful. You've got to make sure it's anchored in the truth. So if you want to complain about what happened in Gaza,
how would you respond to somebody who says that the only way to succeed in this country is to come from a generationally wealthy family?
That's a good question. Wow, I didn't expect that one.
It doesn't bother me when he speaks on issues today, frankly, even when I disagree with how he's applying particular principles. So the most obvious example.
That's a deep cut by that photographer.
The Pope should not opine. I just want people to sit with it.
Yeah.
The Pope should not opine on matters of theology, but a baby Catholic J.D. Vance can.
Right.
Donald Trump, an adulterer who partied with a pedophile, can. And today, I don't know if you saw 2 hours ago, Moses Mike Johnson can.
Yes, I heard that. I haven't seen it. I've been in a no social media book hole, but I did. My wife mentioned it earlier that he was out there doing this. And look, the Pope should not opine on matters of theology. To my mind, is going to go on JD Vance's grave. That is an amazing conceit by these people. That is an amazing conceit. And even in that audience, it didn't really go over that well. It wasn't like raucous, like people on their feet applause. But man, that cutaway at the end, that was just brutal.
That was coup de grace. That was just an amazing time. And look, but someone's really interesting. The crowd was not with him with his attack on the Pope.
Right.
The crowd was not with him with this failed war in Iran. The crowd was not with him with the genocide in Gaza. And the crowd is not with him with the Epstein class raping all of our resources and wealth. And he has no out, Rick. Instead, they're just doubling down.
Yeah, I mean, look, and this is something that they've been in a hole on for a while. And the October 7th attack by Hamas deserved a response, but the response was not wholesale genocide. The response was not wholesale slaughter. That's not the response of civilized countries. And the Pope being opposed to that, somehow triggering Trump and his people, it absolutely blows my mind. I mean, listen, you want to round up every Hamas leader and whack them? Go do. But when you're just leveling blocks of apartments at random, and when you're engaging in what Netanyahu has engaged in there, you can imagine that a pope who even among other religions has the idea that we shouldn't be doing that, and that's not following Catholic or any other faith tradition, but these guys, they are so stuck in their shit. They're so stuck in their own bullshit that they cannot recognize that the Pope literally has a moral and religious obligation to call for the end of war and genocide.
And
that's his job.
And he's representing the majority, and he's very popular. And you mentioned this because I caught it as well. Iran, masterful trolling, by the way, which is so beautiful. Masterful trolling the past 6 weeks. Iran's foreign minister praised the American Pope and said, this is not the way you treat the American Pope. So meanwhile, as Iran is lifting up our first American Pope, you have Mike Johnson, JD Vance, and Donald Trump, even last night, mocking the Pope, in addition to mocking Christians on the holiest day of Easter, where, folks, I've been paying attention. It's been almost 2 weeks. He still hasn't posted Happy Easter.
Of course not. Of course not. And he's equally pissing in the well of Muslims by his throwing in praise be to Allah, where he does not mean that in a serious and respectful way. He means that in a haha fuck you way.
That's right. And then you have Lindsey Graham, who loves Disneyland. Lindsey said, this is a religious war. So you killed the Ayatollah during Ramadan. Then you have Lindsey Graham say it's a religious war. Then you got cosplay crusader Pete Keksev with Doug Wilson on bended knee praying for victory in Jesus' name. You got insane Christian Zionist Mike Huckabee, who wants the end of times. Then you got Tommy Tuberville and Ogles and Randy Fine, who never misses a donut, openly being genocidal. And then you got Donald Trump converting to Islam to mock Islam and say praise be to Allah. And then you got him fighting the Pope. So you got pissing off 1.7 billion Muslims, then pissing off 1 billion Catholics, in addition to promoting a war which every week is more and more unfavorable. Just tell me politically, where's the win here, Rick?
There is no hole. There is no win. It's like he's in a hole and he's like, I need an earth mover to dig further down. I need a shovel to dig further down into this fucking hole. And I mean, look, at this point, I presume he's going to go out in a few days and start insulting Hindus in some way. Why don't you eat beef? I don't understand it. What sacred what? I don't get it.
I'm going to have the DoorDash.
I don't understand it.
I'm going to have the DoorDash grandma drive a drone and drop off McDonald's burgers, and you better eat the McDonald's burgers. If you eat veganism is gay, stop being gay.
Strong, no longer strong. Oh my God. But I think one of the things, Wash, that I'm really paying a lot of attention to right now is the things he's doing. This is a narrower and narrower song for a more and more niche audience.
That's right.
You know, this is like people who once thought he was the Beatles are now listening to like Yoko Ono takes, and it's just not great. So I want to play this big montage we have of this MAGA crack up that we've all talked about a little bit, and we'll talk about it on the other side.
It's 2026, and Trump is saying MAGA means war with Iran, no Epstein files. MAGA means Mark Levin and Laura Loomer and Lindsey Graham are the best, and Tucker and Candace and Megyn Kelly and Alex Jones are the worst.
People will not fight beside, behind, or for someone who is fundamentally disloyal. Okay? If disloyalty and deceit is in your nature, then I highly suggest that you combine it with silence. You can be what you are, but I would advise you do it quietly, Trump.
MAGA is dead. We are America first. This means nothing. Fuck this movement.
Trump thinks he can post this picture of himself depicting Jesus, and it's just straight up blasphemy. So now Trump and the MAGA movement have officially lost all my support.
Ooh. I'm confused. I can't believe we went to this war. When we started bombing Iran, I was like, this can't be true.
And what about Lebanon now?
I know. Israel's invaded Lebanon. Yeah.
This is exactly what seems to have happened to the, quote, MAGAverse, which is we are now at the part where the cult leaders, like, want to suck my dick. Now, these people who, like, really blatantly, we're not going to do any more wars.
Right.
Oh, my God. We blew up. How many fucking Iranian schoolgirls did Trump blow up?
It's like, just stop. Like, what do you need?
Well, they're trying to, supposedly, they're trying to stop the terrorists.
Yeah, that's crazy, though, if you're the terrorist.
It's indefensible now. Fuck MAGA. It's dead.
I got to tell you, those are all people that were all in, set your hair on fire, dead enders of the worst kind for Trump in 24. They could always look past any problem. And man, it's like it's not just one or two things. It's like the whole package now, right?
Yeah, they're all of those people, by the way, are grifters. They're all terrible. They're all complicit. But there's 4 sins I picked up on. And I think these are the sins that have built up and have broken MAGA. The one promise was no forever wars. Yep. He went into an unwinnable war without selling the war, in addition to helping Israel, which is committing a genocide, which has already alienated a young chunk of young MAGA under the age of 50. That's sin number 1. Number 2, he promised to release the Epstein files, but he can't because he's all up in the Epstein files, so he got the cover up. Sin number 3, he promised to drain the swamp. It is a swamp. It's the broligarchy. They're raping all of our resources and
absolutely
wealth. And with the stupid, dumbass trade war, the rich are getting richer, everyone else is getting poor. And then the 4th sin in the past week, he went against Christians and the Pope. And that was a bridge too far. You combine all of that together, and now the chickens have come home to roost at the gas station, at the grocery store. And these people are like, oh my God, I thought you just punished the blacks and the Muslims and the Latinos and the gays. Now I'm being punished. You're sending my child to die for Israel. You guys are raping girls. You're covering it up. And by the way, this stupid, dumbass trade war and this war with Iran has resulted in higher gas prices. Maybe, just maybe, I got played. And you know what? Because they're all grifters, this grift ain't making as much money anymore. So I'm going to move to America first.
Yeah, I think that, and the thing about Trump is sometimes he will take people back who have left the reservation, but I don't think there's any going back now for people who mattered a lot to him. Tucker, Alex Jones, Candace Owen, even Nick Fuentes mattered to Trump. They got a big group of those young men, especially because the people you saw around that table, like Theo Vaughn and Joe Rogan, who their audience of young men thought either this will be funny to elect Trump, or it'll be kind of like a fuck you to the establishment to elect Trump. Those guys are getting hit right in the face with this thing.
That's right.
I keep saying this. This war is so effed up that it's going to be the kids of MAGA voters who go die in Iran.
That's right.
It's going to be the kids of MAGA voters who go into the army and we're not going to have a draft for a while, but if we ever did, those are the kids that are going to go to Iran. Those are the kids that are going to die in the human wave attacks and the IED attacks and all that other stuff that Iran is shockingly evil and good at. You know, we have underestimated the cost of this. I mean, politically, he underestimated the cost, but as a country, he really underestimated how much people hate this war. I mean, it's bad.
And he can't get out. It's an unwinnable quagmire.
Correct.
And the fact now that literally you have Marco Rubio and all the reporting say that Netanyahu dog-walked Donald Trump into this war. That in addition to the genocide, now people are like, why the hell are we fighting an unwinnable war for Netanyahu, who's one of the most hated people on earth? And now, mother effer, there's no exit strategy because there was no entry strategy. And now, folks, if you just think about this, Rick, I was saying this earlier with Joy. If Donald Trump, just think about this. I said this without hyperbole. The last 6.5 weeks during this war, suppose he had disappeared and just golfed, right? Suppose he literally did nothing except golf. Rick, the world and the United States would be in a better off place.
The economy would be banging.
If he literally did nothing.
Yeah, the less engaged he is with government, the better off we do as a country, economically, politically, spiritually, and every other way, because this guy has failed and failed so badly. And I do think this war, though, absolutely represents like the peak fuck up of Trump.
Absolutely.
There is, if he walks away, if we pull every bit of our deployed troops out of that area right now, Iran is now the regional superpower. They're going to make money off the strait now to a degree where they're just going to call up China and go, hey, we want to order a new Air Force off of Alibaba or Temu or whatever. Send it over. We want all the new, we want a whole new anti-aircraft system. Send it over. And those people in Iran that I have hoped for years would somehow find a way to have an emerging democracy. Those young people, and Iran is a young country. People don't get that. Those people are done. The Basij and the mullahs are now in control of that country, so much so that we've unwound 30 years of slow, incremental progress there. It is now going to be a war with America for 100 fucking years.
Literally, Trump has made China great again because our allies are looking to China as a more reliable superpower. It has made Russia great again because Russia is making money off its oil. It has made Iran stronger. Iran is getting decimated. There's a lot of casualties, but Iran wasn't closing down the straits. But now they're like, all right, we'll just be a toll man. And now the world has to come to us and pay us money. So they've made Iran into, like you said, much more of a regional power. They've strengthened the repressive Islamic theocracy. They replaced the older dying Khamenei with his younger, more radicalized son. They've radicalized young people
after killing his wife and child.
And that's going
to go well.
And the United States killed 165 kids because a Tomahawk missile based on bad AI, outdated AI, blew up a friggin' children's school. So now all those people are now radicalized against the United States. And now America is more isolated. It's weaker. It's more hated. Our allies are turning away from us. We've run out of money because we funded this stupid war. $50 billion have already been wasted. And all the world's worst 1% companies have made money off this war. Palantir and the Oracle and the others. So the rich will get richer. Everyone will get poorer. Everyone hates us now. Tell me the wins, Rick.
Listen, the idea that somehow that oil and natural gas are priced just here in America, that's a global market. That's the worst part of it for Americans. It's going to fuck us financially.
That's right.
Farmers can't get fertilizer.
That's right.
Diesel is $6 a gallon, and that's what every ag provider in the country uses, every trucker uses. And diesel is a variation of jet fuel is a variation of diesel, and that's not going to go well. All of this is adding up to a catastrophe that only I think the Christian Lord and Savior Jesus Christ could save us from. And I'm reminded of that with a certain new meme. Let's bring up Jesus.
Mr. President, did you post that picture of yourself depicted as Jesus Christ?
Well, it wasn't depicted. It was me. I did post it, and I thought it was me as the doctor, and had to do with Red Cross as a Red Cross worker there, which we support. And only the fake news could come up with that one. So I just heard about it, And I said, how did they come up with that? It's supposed to be me as a doctor making people better. And I do make people better. I make people a lot better.
That's a disgrace. I'm very upset about that. I mean, how egotistical can you possibly be? I'm ashamed that he would actually do that. A man I voted for and trust.
You know, it's a lot. I want to take a quick break, though, to talk about a sponsor of our show today, Ground News. Folks, if you're not using Ground News, I really want to recommend you take a look at it. Ground News is an app and a website that lets you analyze the bias in news stories, the factuality in news stories, find out places where you've got a blind spot in the news. You can look up any story, and it'll help you understand where they're coming from. Who owns the company? Are they considered left-wing, right-wing, or straight up the middle? Are they dedicated to facts, or are they dedicated to propaganda? Are they credible, or are they not credible? Ground News is an amazing service, and one that I have been using now for I don't know, probably close to 6 months, and it has really helped my research and my writing, because all of us see a story sometimes and go, hey, I love that. That's amazing. And then you start to peel it apart and it doesn't hold together. And you don't want to be in that position. And Ground News will help you understand what's really happening out there. They also have this feature that I absolutely love called a blind spot. And, you know, we all have our preferences. And if you're reading certain media, you're going to miss perspectives that are on the other side. And these days, you need to be looking at all the perspectives. You need to make sure you understand what the left is saying, what the right is saying, what traditional media and straight up the middle media is saying, because we live in this world where information and ideas have become weaponized. And Ground News will help you break out of that weaponized media bubble and give you a better understanding of what's happening out there, and give you a better realization of where the news is coming from, who owns the companies that are reporting it, and things like that. I find it so valuable. Once again, Ground News. You can check it out, groundnews.com/Rick, for a 40% discount off the Vantage plan, which is what I use. That's the full access subscription. I love it. I would check it out. Really recommend it. So groundnews.com/Rick. You save 40% off the Vantage plan. Thanks to Ground News for sponsoring this live stream today. And we'll be seeing you guys again when we talk about Ground News the next time. So, Waj, I want to end up with you know, we've got the Jesus meme rolling. And we talked a lot about this in the beginning. When even Iran control you on the Pope and the Jesus meme, you seem like you've stepped in a religious minefield that is not going to get any better. But if you were sharp and young and mentally agile, you might be able to work your way out of it. And Trump is not the Trump he was even 2 years ago.
Nope.
Much less the Trump he was in 2016. So I want to roll some footage of Trump looking very sharp, very cognitive, as he would say. Very cognitive, top of the best cognitive ever.
So milk would help your cognitive ability.
Absolutely. You can tell who's been drinking.
Take a cognitive test. I've taken a lot of them. I've aced every one of them because I drink milk.
When your ankles swell up 3 times the size they were before, that means heart failure. And he does look sick. And he does babble and, you know, sound like the brains.
I feel like that umbrella is a metaphor for America. Like
There's so much right now.
Donald Trump will always fail up and escape, and he'll just leave behind his mess and have someone else clean it up. But he's lost his fastball. He's lost his curveball. He was the oldest person to be elected. It's clear this man is dying before our eyes. His brain is fried. He's ignorant. He's surrounded by reeks, which makes it all worse. Worse. He's a man who has an insatiable appetite. He needs more because he's broken inside, and he refuses because he goes to the Roy Cohn school. You always fight, never admit you're wrong.
Deny, fight.
Yep. And when you're in an unwinnable war with Iran, those are literally the worst personality traits to have, Rick.
100%. Well, it's going to get worse before it gets better, folks, but we will be here to cover all of it. Watch, tell folks where they can find you on social media and on Substack.
Folks, I edit the Left Hook Substack. Everything is free. I'm a terrible capitalist. The lefthook.substack.com. You can also find me on Blue Sky. And I'm on Twitter just to troll Nazis. It's fun.
My job on Twitter these days, I don't talk to people. I don't fight with people. I roll a grenade in the room and I leave.
That's it. That's why I'm on Twitter, to troll these mother effers. And, some of these Trumpers who are learning the hard way, it's okay to troll them for a little bit. But then you expand the tent and maybe y'all can wake up. Maybe y'all can wake up. He's the same man he's always been for 10 years. You just refuse to admit it.
He's a little slower, a little shakier, a little sicker, a little older, a little closer to death. But the evil has always been there, folks.
Always.
Well, listen, Watch, thanks you so much for coming on the show, brother. We'll see you again soon. And folks, thank you for watching this live stream. Once again, I've been less active the last week or so. I am on a final crunch deadline. It pushed forward a bit on my book. But I will be seeing you again more. You will not get the Friday brief this week because that is the day I've got to really land the whole thing. But we're looking forward to getting back in the swing of doing lives. Everybody has been so kind about it. Really appreciate you. All right, folks, we'll talk to you again next time on Against All Enemies. I'm Rick Wilson, and thanks for watching.